2025 begins with an intense energy as we have the second Mars-Pluto opposition occurring on January 3rd. This is happening with Mars retrograde in Leo at 1 degrees and Pluto direct in Aquarius at 1 degree. Now, this is actually a slow-moving energy that's building up because of how slowly Mars is moving. And it's affecting us at multiple levels of our experiences. So there are going to be world events that will reveal this energy. Pluto is intense transformation, fears, power, control, requiring us to see the truth of secrets, what's been hidden, what's been going on behind the scenes, uncomfortable secrets. Mars is about that warrior spirit, what you want, what you go for, what you want to fight for, how you approach challenges, how you stand up for yourself. Mars is also connected to the physical body. So an understanding of these two archetypes showing up through the second opposition here is a powerful standoff. This is where energies can escalate. And there's also been a shift in their dynamic. And that's because both are now in the fixed signs. Leo is a fixed sign, Aquarius is a fixed sign. Yes, it's their second opposition, but previously, Mars was in Cancer, Pluto was in Capricorn. Those were cardinal signs, pushing and requiring a new start. Transformation, bringing up anger, big triggers, big emotional triggers. That occurred at the beginning of November. Now, the beginning of January, the second standoff, each is more locked in to a position because they're in the fixed signs. Mars is going to fight for what he wants. Pluto is going to stand strong in the need for evolution and transformation. So this particular opposition is more intense. The energy is dialed up. And we have also the dynamic of Mars being related to the self, the individual, connected to the higher octave of Pluto. Mars and Pluto are actually energetically related. Let me explain. Mars is the lower octave of Pluto. Pluto is the higher octave of Mars. So these are both energies here that will do whatever it takes to trust and follow their will. There's a lot of willpower here. There's the desire to face something head on, to stand up against the opposition. No compromising, no backing down. The energy being very locked in and fixated is where escalations happen. More rage, anger, heat, intensity, especially with that Mars in Leo, a fire sign. Pluto in Aquarius is about technology, social media, what is happening off planet, what is occurring in the higher realms, the secrets of what's going on behind the scenes. Pluto in Aquarius is working with us in an all new energy field now. We're going to have new challenges presented, new world challenges, new, perhaps even very intensifying standoffs, pressure points. This energy is not comfortable by any means. And that's what is coming up in the collective here as January begins. And the energy is going to be revisited the end of April when we have our third opposition occurring at 3 degrees of Leo and 3 degrees of Aquarius. So whatever is going on here as January begins, it's not a quick resolution. It doesn't get solved easily. It's potentially world changing. It's destruction. It's, I'm going to say, the weaker entity falls is destroyed. Yes, this can be very much about war, but I don't want to focus on that energy, but we have to understand that it's a part of this. When I see these intense energies, I like to focus in on what the individual is understanding, what you and I can do to move this, to face this, to look at what is coming up for each of us at an individual level, because it is about fears being triggered, power plays, manipulations, standoffs, and all of that coming up in the collective and affecting each of us. Mars in Leo is about a sense of self and how you feel strong in sharing who you are. It's about being able to put your creative expressions into the world. It's about how you show up to be recognized, seen, to be understood for who you are, the truth of who you are. Mars in Leo is strongest and most powerful when it's in its heart. When there's a sense of that heart chakra connecting to the solar plexus of personal will. Truly feeling confident in who you are, regardless of what is happening outside of you. Regardless if there is applause, if there is an audience, if there's anyone paying attention. None of that matters, because the true strength of Mars in Leo is this is who I am. This is how I share and shine my energy and my light. And so that is receiving this opposition from Pluto in Aquarius, which is an air sign fixated on the future and how your personal energy affects the collective. Is it healthy? Is it strong? Is it powerful and connected to a higher consciousness and a bigger intention around humanity's evolution right now? Mars in Leo can be selfish, can be too self-focused, can be only concerned about appearances or a mask or, what other people would love about me. That's how that Leo energy can show up in its lower form. Is it really who you are, or is it just pretending to be something for attention or so others will like it? This Pluto is challenging the intention of our individual energies. Are you really being who you are? What fears are you coming up against? What part of yourself are you afraid to let others truly know? I feel that this Pluto in Aquarius also reveals unconscious collective programming. There can be a disconnect from our own unity consciousness. There can be a disconnect from how we have more in common that we can forget, or we find ways to separate ourselves. We find ways to argue or to be too much in the ego without a heart-based understanding of our commonalities. This opposition brings up what we each need to consciously and intentionally work through to remember that we are brothers and sisters sharing this planet together. We can always find reasons to separate from each other. We can always find reasons to be different. What unites us? What can bring us together, especially in the higher realms? This opposition can be very emotional, intense, disruptive. Part of your experience might be that you have to separate from something. You have to break up from something. And it's that Mars in Leo rage coming up that's like, I can't take one more minute of this. I can't handle this. I don't want this. There's powerful reactions here against something that Pluto in Aquarius is stirring up. And so there's a separation here that's on a cosmic level right on time And we're going to work through it until the end of April. But part of the bigger or higher intentionality is understanding that all of that serves a purpose in coming into the truth of who you are, what you love, what you want, what you desire, that can never be taken from you. The true essence of who you are is needed. And maybe this is bringing up, I'm feeling like a hero's journey. Like you need to go find that. You need to separate from something in order to go discover it or to get stronger around it. And perhaps there's something coming up in you that you can't be around the collective energies, or you don't want to be around as much external influences because this energy, it wants to separate to find itself. It's interesting because as I say that, then I'm seeing the energy like spiral up to unity consciousness, because as you separate to go find yourself, you're going to find the beautiful, powerful pieces of who you are and what you came to experience in this lifetime and how it connects to that unity consciousness. It's sort of like we separate from something only to understand how deeply connected we are. So, breakups, disagreements, arguments, things falling apart, it's not working, I don't want this, I don't want to go in that direction, no thank you. Like this is where there's big shifts and endings. And that's meant to serve a purpose right now. There's no quick resolutions here. There's no fast moving like sense of, oh, okay, then everything's fine the next day. That's not this energy. This is a deeper, more intense self-discovery process that's meant to bring you into the heart of who you are, what you want, what you need, that you've been disconnected from. And the more that you open up to that and that you're willing to work with that, the better it's going to move for you, the better it's going to feel. And because it goes into late April, where there's the third opposition between Mars and Pluto, April 25th, 26th, but it's the second showdown in Leo and Aquarius. There's no compromising who you are and what you want. And you could be experiencing that with other people. They're not going to compromise who they are, what they want, nor should you ask them to. I feel like this is an exercise, an experience of sovereignty that could show up through a disagreement, a fight, ending, explosive developments. Let people go their own way. Let yourself be free, let someone else be free. I mean, the worst thing that you can do with strong Pluto is try to control another or control an outcome or manipulate something to get your own way. That won't work with this energy. That won't work. So this is about letting people go their own way, having their own hero's journey, having their own independent experience. Allowing the energy to separate can be one of the best gifts that you give yourself and you give to another right now. And if you can honor that but work through it too, right? Like if that brings up a fear, if that brings up sadness, if that, really triggers something deep in you, then that's your assignment. If you leaving, if you separating brings up something deep in you, then that's your soul assignment here. This is the first time we've ever had this energy in our lifetime. And we're getting it twice, January till the end of February. I feel like that deep honoring of individual sovereignty is essential right now. And if you can see it from a higher level of this is right on time, this breakup, this breakdown, this huge change in my life is right on time. Because people are going to have new life directions. They're going to have new life choices with this. It's definitely the energy of going your own way or going a new way, especially if you have planets or points in the early degrees of the fixed signs. The early degrees of Taurus, Leo, Scorpio, Aquarius. This is working with you powerfully changing the course of your life. And that can be hard for the fixed signs. In fact, it's the hardest for the fixed signs to change direction, to have these big transformations if you're not choosing it. And that's probably what's happening here. You're not choosing it because Pluto is choosing it. But Pluto is connected to your future self and your higher potential. And Pluto is actually going to reward you with these new aspects of yourself that are coming forward that perhaps you haven't met yet. And for some people, this is going to actually play out through all of this year. Because Pluto retrogrades back to 1 degree of Aquarius later in 2025. It will be evident where you're not happy, what you don't like, what you don't want. It will be so clear. And if you fight to keep it, it's not going to stay. There's a powerful saying, what you fight to get, you fight to keep. And in this situation, you're not going to keep it because Pluto's going to take it away. So look at where that fight is coming up, where that desire to hold on to something is coming up. It's not easy. This is not easy. Pluto transits never are. And that's why it is life-changing and it's a misdirect. And it can feel really powerless because your personal will, which is Mars and Leo, is not doing the job. It's like, it doesn't matter what I want. It doesn't matter what I want to create. It doesn't matter because Pluto's taking it away. So this will be happening again at a collective world level, but at a personal level, which is more of the astrology that I focus on, is your personal soul growth and what you're learning along the way through these big transits. There's meant to be these separations and breakdowns, and your soul knows why. And you won't have an immediate answer or immediate resolution. It might not even, it might play out the rest of this year, whatever the separation and ending is. So I'll be back to talk about the third opposition occurring the end of April. But this is a big one that starts January 3rd, but it's been slowly moving towards this point, this trigger point, this catalyst point. The separation is needed. The sovereignty is required. You have a choice around how much of a power struggle you engage in. But the bigger picture here is that Pluto is removing and taking away something that you want or wanted. And that's always hard for the human experience of loss, of feeling powerless, of being challenged at that level. But there's always a reason why, and the reason is to recreate. This is a recreation energy here between the Leo and Aquarius axis. Recreation. So if you can move your energy to what am I going to recreate here? What do I want to recreate? That's going to at least connect you to the long-term picture and to be empowered with these changes that are coming up. If you have planets or points that trine this Mars in Leo and this Pluto in Aquarius, that's going to help. So the trines would be to the other fire signs, Aries and Sagittarius, or to the other air signs of Gemini or Libra. The trines are going to move the energy forward for you and help you process and move through whatever this significant life change might be. So I hope this gives you some good understandings of the energetics at play to help understand that it's right on time. And if you can go to that place that your soul chose this, your soul said, we're going to do this, and you're going to rock it, and you're going to master it, and it's going to be worth it, even if it's a struggle. If you can go to that place in your soul's energy to trust it, that can help with the powerful changes as well. Thank you for joining me. I hope this video has offered some insights and some benefits, and I'll be back soon with another video.